Hi there, welcome back to a new video. My name is Lumistarbun and well, it's been a while. Now I've made videos on multiple channels just trying to move on from the drama, but it's time I address it. I kinda tried to address it on my other channel, but it didn't really work out and I just worded everything wrong, like it wasn't my fault or anything like that. So let's talk about it in a little serious note. Now there has been a lot of things happening in my life that I wanted to bring up. First off being gender. I have experimented with my gender and I have not come to a conclusion yet, but I think I'm pretty comfortable with being female right now. But that might change. So for now I'm having two channels. So one called Ace Boy Screams and one called Lumistarbun. I think I might be gender fluid, I am not sure. We will figure that one out together. All I know is that I'm comfortable with my femininity and masculinity, and that's what's gonna have to be. So, I wanted to also talk about something pretty serious about this. So, other than my gender dysphoria, there's been a new friend that popped up. Ever since yesteryear, I've been going through therapy to recognize my mental state. I've been diagnosed with autism and depression in the past, but a new friend has popped up to say hi. Let's get into this complicated mess of a mental situation. So I have autism and depression and anxiety, but I also have borderline personality disorder. BPD, also known as borderline personality disorder, is a personality disorder that affects 1 in about 100 people, but I happen to not be the 99%. Now obviously there are stages to this, there's different kinds, and there's basically a spectrum to it all. That's at least what my psychiatrist told me. I've been talking to my psychiatrist about this, if I should make a video about it explaining my mental situation, and he thought I should, so I'm going to do that. Don't blame him for anything. This is my choice. Anyway, so I wanted to bring up some of the things that could come into reason as to why I acted like the way I did. Now after getting therapy, obviously I'm better, but let's get into this. Emotional liability. I've been thinking a lot about this one, and for one reason and one reason only. My mother always told me that my emotional state, like a girl changes clothes for example, it changed over time and it goes really far down and then really high up. It's always been a problem keeping the same emotional state, and it hasn't really been that well. Before figuring out that I had borderline personality disorder, we thought it was just how I was, and I actually got pills for it. So I go on Abilify now, and that has helped me regulate my mood a lot. So no more mood swings, no more of that. It should be good now. I'm switching my pills a little bit to just adjust them so they're perfect, but for now, it's pretty good where I am right now. A stable self-image. Self-image is a hard thing to cope with. One minute I feel like I'm this super nice, sweet person to everyone, and the next person I have is someone who's horrible and absolutely the worst person in the world. This doesn't help when people actually encourage my behavior and say, do this and do this. It doesn't help, and honestly it's not anybody's fault for what I've done, but it does play a part in it. Funnily enough, this has made me think I have DID due to a personality switch that I have, but I do not have DID, and I should not have claimed that I did. Idealization and devaluation. This has a lot to deal with how I see others, for example. One minute I feel like somebody is the best person in my life, and the next person they're horrible and I will drop them at any second I can. This has made it really hard to keep people in my life, and I just drop people out of nowhere, break up with them, or just completely stop talking to them as a whole. Obviously toxic behavior, but I've learned to deal with this and I have not dropped a friend for a long time now. Feelings of abandonment. I feel like people will leave me at any point they get, and so I will drop them first. This plays into the last part we had, and it's just feelings are just imaginary that I have, and they won't actually drop me, but I just do it to protect myself from the heartache. I do whatever I can to protect my mental health at this point, so dropping people just seemed like the best option even though I came back crying to them. It's not very healthy. Feeling empty. As well as the other one, this has kind of depression feel to it. Obviously I have depression along with borderline, but this is some other form of emptiness. Along with depression, this is obviously not the ideal situation for me, but it is what it is. The emptiness comes and goes now with my medication, but as I said, I'm in the works of switching my pills for it. Impulsivity and risk-taking behavior. This is something I struggle with a lot. I spend money without thinking, I drop people without thinking, and I do other things such as drink and other things that I don't think about the consequences of doing it. This has led me to do really bad things, such as bad videos, apologies that just to make me feel better that I won't work or do anything, and make other things such as murder artwork and calling people names and such. This is a really bad behavior, and I take a lot of risks in my life, and that is not good. You should plan your situation. Those are the ones that I struggle with, and they're also one of the more popular beliefs of BPD. Now, the thing is, BPD is pretty much unrecognized for most clinics. I was fortunate enough to get diagnosed with it, which is good, but some people can't, and that is horrible. But the fact is, someone who is diagnosed with it are most likely to have more in common with someone who doesn't have it than others who have extreme case of it. I have a pretty extreme case of it. It's not like I used to have 1 or 2. I have pretty much all 9 of the things that come along with the diagnosis. It's horrible, and I'm trying to get better. Now, if you're wondering what BPD is and if the links that I put in bio will not help you, it's basically when, at least from what I stand for, it's when somebody who can't see themselves or others as good or bad. We only see each other as black and white, good or bad. We can't see each other as just people and just everyone's good, everyone's bad, everything's fine. But being on the internet has developed this severe case of me seeing everything in black and white. Obviously, I'm not blaming the internet for everything I've done. Obviously, it's taken a lot of part in it, but it is what it is. Now, let's get into a situation. Let's put it like this. My best friend Cypher, hi Cypher, tells me about a certain thing, and I blow up at them and throw a so-called tantrum. Cypher needs to realize that she can't blame me for the tantrum. She can only blame me for what I say during the tantrum. And she just needs to wait until I've calmed down from the situation. The wrong thing is to blame me for the entire thing, get mad back, and expose me for the horrible thing I do. That won't help anyone. It will just make me want to do worse things to them because I'm so mad in the moment. And it will just make them feel more horrible than they already do. Now, my best friend Cypher also has BPD, and so we talk about it a lot. She understands my issues, I understand hers. And it's a good communication. Now, what is BPD started off as? My BPD is most likely caused by overcoming trauma, childhood and abuse, and all of that jazz. It's most likely a family thing because I know my mother has it, and I think it's just abuse, overcoming trauma, and biological genes. Now, you may ask, what am I doing to treat this? Am I just going to therapy? Well, kind of. Well, my therapist and I are trying to get my bad side and good side into one side, aka me, my person. My mental state into a good place for me to live in. This kind of therapy is called dialectical behavioral therapy. I will be working to accept change and not stay in one or bad sides and stuff like that. I've already made a huge improvement, and you might not see it because you don't know me as a person, but it's gonna get better, and I really believe in myself. I guess that was the most important thing I will talk about in this video, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day, people. Wonderful day.